Fellow hobbyists, collectors, and preyheads alike, I want to welcome you again back to my channel, Predator Collectibles. I'm your host, Glenn Taylor, and with me is inker Mr. John Beatty. It's a pleasure, Mr. John.
Pleasure.
Now, in relation to comics, if your name came up, what would you think would be the #1 comic book that you're attached to?
Probably definitely Secret Wars.
Secret Wars?
Yeah.
I did have the pleasure of interviewing Jim Shooter for Secret Wars as well. Why Secret Wars do you think would be the most one that you're notarized for?
I think Secret Wars hit at a time in the 80s where it was the first real big event at a comic book company that had all the heroes, all the villains in it. 12-issue maxi series, first time that was done. And there were little gimmicks in the book that were, for the most part, throwaway gimmicks, except for the black suit Spider-Man,
right,
which we had no inkling was going to become Venom. It was just part of the story we had to tell. Everybody changed, and it's the one that's really stayed and become Venom.
And Sam De La Rosa, of course, inked Venom, The Last Defender.
Yep.
I interviewed him as well because he did do also inking for Predator 1989.
Right.
Now, in relation to Predator, you did ink Aliens vs. Predator, Deadliest Species.
Right.
Now, if you can elaborate a little bit, what is the inking process like for something, whether it be a normal Marvel, DC, or Predator?
Well, a Predator, of course, in most cases, is going to have a lot more detail depending on what character you're inking. But in general, you know, there's a lot of scales, a lot of different textures. It's not just like the superhero tights, maybe a cape or something. You have a lot more textural things, a lot more detail and stuff like that on a Predator character than you would have on, say, Captain America, Superman, you know, those characters where it's just all material type stuff.
Right. Now, was that the first time you've ever done an Alien Predator title?
Yeah, actually it was.
Now, what did you do after Alien vs. Predator after that point?
Well, I started inking a book that's still in publication. You can still find it. It's Dark Joker: The Wild, written by Doug Minch, penciled by Kelly Jones. And after I did that, that started an 8-year journey with Doug and Kelly on Batman projects, including 3 years on the monthly book and various other prestige format books and graphic novels in between.
Now, how long have you been doing the whole comic book format?
Since 1980. I broke into the business then and started doing sequential work. After that, after so many years, I got into doing some of the licensing stuff at DC and Warner Brothers and through Disney, although they didn't have Marvel at that point. But this was in the late 90s, early 2000s. I lived in Orlando and I knew some people that were there. They brought me in to do some inking assignments, which kind of blossomed into other things. So
that's interesting because I actually live 2 hours away from Orlando, Florida, in Port St. Lucie. It's a little small town, Fort Pierce. So I didn't know you were in Orlando at the time.
Yeah, I was there for 10 years, from 90 to 2001. And the whole DDG is what they call it, Disney Design Group, is located in Kissimmee.
Right there at Disney World.
Right, and all the stuff for the parks, t-shirt designs, paper plates, cups, anything that goes into the parks, even as far as I know, unless they've changed, even the worldwide parks is all originated from the Kissimmee office.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, I lived there all my life and had no clue.
No, it's kind of hidden away. It used to be in the old, what was the studio park Disney had? Was it
the MGM Studios?
The MGM. It used to be there next to the animation department, and when that all shut down, they moved out further into Kissimmee, into some sort of big office complex.
Okay. Now, in regards to what gravitated you to do comics in general? After the animation port for Disney?
No, the comic book stuff was just, as a kid, I wanted to do it. You know, I always wanted to do comics or cartoons, something visual, something drawing, and so I just really drilled down on that and decided that's what I was going to do.
Awesome. Now, I have loved your artwork for when I read Alien vs. Predator, Deadliest Species. I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
So fantastic. Are you doing anything as of right now, any projects?
Not really. Been on this convention circuit for a while, and it's been treating me well. I've got to meet a lot of fans, and it's very nice to have people come up and remember your work and, like, you know, basically tell you that it changed the course of their life or it was their childhood.
Right.
Got them reading comics, got them back into comics, whatever. You know, so it's been very rewarding that way.
Yeah, and for me as a comic book collector, I know you guys at home know that I have the Alien vs. Predator Deadliest of Species signed by Mr. Beatty. That's going to be graded by CGC. Thank you again very much.
Thank you.
So that's just another aspect of how I collect. If it's a comic book that he did, I had to have it because it's part of my collection, which you don't really hear a lot of Predator fans on your aspect, do you?
No, occasionally, more than the book that you had signed, I'll get the ash can come up, one of the ash cans. So I usually at every show, somebody might have one or two of those, and
have you seen all the colors, the silver, gold, and the
pretty much,
red?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I have all three, of course.
Yeah.
I didn't get those signed. I just wanted to make sure I had at least the main one
Yeah.
signed. So I really appreciate it. So again, I also link Mr. Betty's information down in the description below. I highly recommend you looking at his work. Again, Secret Wars, anything Marvel, DC. And again, I just want to thank you very much for taking your time out to interview me.
All right.
So if there's anything else, guys, make sure you leave it right here. Hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification. And until next time, happy hunting.
Thank you.